Hello, people. Hello, Purpose Plan Platform people. I have been MIA, and life has lifed. I know I'm not the only one that has that experience and has that testimony, but I'm happy to be back. I'm grateful to be back, and I wanted to take this time to share this video to kind of uh, go into why this platform has changed to a purpose plan platform. And I just feel like now, the times that we're living in, there's so much going on in this life and in this world. And I just feel like it is most important that I be used as a vessel to help people get closer to God, to help people make those decisions, those pivotal decisions that you know need to be made in your life. You know what it is that you're dealing with, you know what it is that you struggle with, and you know what it is that God is pulling and tugging on you to do, i.e., like this video. This video should have been done honestly about 2 weeks ago. And I just been putting it off. Had some other things happening, you know, life and then other situations going on. So, of course, I have every excuse, so to speak, to justify why the video hadn't made it out 2 weeks ago when it was supposed to be out. But finally, this morning, I'm up and getting things together, and the Holy Spirit just spoke to me and was like, how much longer are you gonna wait? If not now, then when? It'll be something else. It's gonna always be something else to come up, right? So I got myself together and I sat here and I said, Lord, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Let me just go ahead and just do this. So I this channel was formerly Exploration Homeschool Program. And if you go back and look at my previous videos, you'll see, videos that I started out with my kids and, my husband with the gardening and everything. And so this really was a platform, that I decided to establish during a time, honestly, when I wasn't working. And, I didn't want to just be around the house doing nothing, right? I had my kids here with me. I was homeschooling them, still do. But I just felt like that would be an opportunity to really make homeschool a little bit more. And you may hear them in the background. My son is just he's in the video gaming mode, nevertheless. Um, I wanted to make everything as smooth and as fun and as intriguing and inviting as possible. I just always felt like, because I do have a background in education, but I've just always felt like learning should be fun. Learning shouldn't be boring and, you know, just always stuck in a book, As a matter of fact, I do feel like that most of the learning that takes place with children often comes away from the book, unless it is the book, the great book. Okay, we know what that is, the Holy Bible. Um, but nevertheless, I started Exploration Homeschool, I think 2021, and during that time, I was enjoying what I was doing, but I just didn't feel like that was really what God wanted me to do with this particular platform. It was a good starting space, but I felt like He wanted me to do other things, right? And I also needed to work. I needed to help my husband. So I prayed fervently, daily, for God to bless me with a job from the heavens. And I think specifically, I was like, Lord, if you will allow the human resources of the heavens to bless me with a job, I will stay with that job. I will be faithful with that job. I just want what you have for me. I want the human resources of the heavens to hire me. And I'll never forget, I was standing in the dining room looking out the window, and I looked up to the sky and I prayed that prayer, and I meant it. Because I was just tired of all of the revolving door jobs. I had worked previously in corporate, and stayed there almost 10 years. But life happened, things changed, and so I too made a change in profession. Everything shifted. Like I did a complete 180, and I don't have any regrets. I'm very grateful with where I am and where God has me now. So I prayed that prayer in May 30th of 2020. Where are we now? 22? May of 2022. I got the call, and I am working with. It's a third party company, but we are contracted to assist a well known automotive company, um, worldwide known. So we know how that goes. Names cannot be spoken; they shall but remain unspoken. So I got the job, and I went through a lot. First and foremost, I never thought I'd be working for an automotive company. Let's just start there. I am not a car girl. I'm not a car guru. As long as it look nice and when I crank it up, it turns on and gets me to point A to point B and get me back home. That's really all I care about. Um, so when I got the call initially from talent acquisition, I I was, they were asking questions, and the girl said, I remember she said, so you'll be working with this company, and you'll be, customer service. And I kind of paused, and then I was like, Lord, I did pray that prayer, I prayed that prayer, and okay, here we go, Lord. All right. So I was like, okay. She was like, is that okay? I was like, yeah, it's okay. And in my mind, when she said customer service, I'm thinking, oh, okay, people will be calling in, make oil changes. They need to set up appointments for their car. Or they want to set up an appointment to come in and talk to somebody about buying a car. So I'm thinking, this will be gravy, Thanks, Lord. Those of us who truly have a relationship with God, how many of you know it's been trying ever since? It was not as easy. It was not as easy as I was thinking. It has definitely come with some trying times and trying situations and some major ups and downs. And whoo, man, I done quit that job like a million times in my head. I promise to God I have. But every time I've been met with an obstacle, I have had to remind myself, God, I fervently prayed for this. And as soon as I prayed, this is what opened up for me, because prior to that time, I had I had opportunities. I had other opportunities that reached out to me, but they would either flop, or you would kind of find out that they were kind of giving scammy vibes. This was around the time where Trump was still in office, so people, we were getting like monies and stipends and stuff. So a lot of people probably were taking advantage of the lump sums of monies that they were, the PPP loans. That's right, all of that stuff, the SBA loans. So I feel like a lot of people were getting the money and they were trying to establish businesses, which there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not mad at that at all, right? But I just feel like in order to be successful with establishing a business, unless you're able to just inherit it, you have to be working a job and then be working that on the side. And then once you see where the side job honestly is carrying you and making room for you better than your regular 9 to 5, then that's when you transition and be like, okay, now I can put all my time and effort in this because it has shown and proven to be successful. But I think I got caught up with a couple of situations where people clearly were just, they had had a dream, they had a vision, and now they had the money. So now they were like, okay, I got the money, let me play out my vision. Like I said, nothing is wrong with that. But I needed a job that was going to pay me, and that was going to pay me what I was worth. And I feel like, once again, if things had been in the position financially where I could have done that, I could have stayed. There was one particular company that I would have considered. It was educational based. And I would have considered, kind of sticking around and helping things get jumped up off the ground. I would have. Because I appreciated her vision and I saw where she was going, but she just didn't. All she had was the startup money and the vision, and you needed to pay people for their time, and this was, like I say, during the time I wasn't working. So I unfortunately had to decline that position, and then there were some other positions that I had gotten, and it just, like I say, they seemed a little scammy, they seemed a little off, and it was just like, Lord, I'm so tired. Where's my job? So after I prayed that prayer, here comes the opportunity for the automotive company, customer service. I have been there almost 3 years. May of this year, 2025, will mark 3 years, and it's been interesting. It has. I've had an opportunity to work with 4 different units with the automotive company. The first one I started out, we kind of assist people with, like connecting, like Bluetooth, helping troubleshoot, wireless connection in the vehicle, things of that nature. Um, Troubleshooting, it was more like a techie job, like the technical side of it with the vehicles. I started there, and apparently I did so well. I got recognized for Employee of the Month, and I gave that right back to God. I gave that certificate and those accolades right back to God because I realized I couldn't have done it without Him, and I felt like that was His way of showing me, you were obedient. You had questions, you had concerns, like most people do, in the Bible, and but you were obedient, and you took, what I gave you, and you made the best of it. And so I dedicated that right back to God. And after that, I was considered for a different unit because at that time I was like a closer. You know how it is when you get those jobs and you first start out, child. They're gonna make you close. I was a 1 to 10er. Woo! And I was seeking earlier hours, obviously. So I was considered for another unit, and that particular unit helps the customers that are looking for like discounts for their vehicles, or if they've worked, they're retirees, they're spouses of retirees, they're if they have parents who worked for the automotive company and they are deceased, there are different incentives and different discounts that they can qualify for. So I was more along the lines of assisting, those people who, had active and, retired accounts, legacy accounts, if you will, for those whose parents were deceased. So they would call in and get assistance. I would assist them with the steps that they would go through to get discounts to purchase vehicles. So that particular position shocked all of us that were a part of the program. The company decided that it was best fit being staying in a brick and mortar, and that it didn't need to be outsourced work from home. So they sunset that particular program, and here's where it gets funny, right? So I'm like, okay, Lord, so you blessed me, and now it's time for me to venture off to something else because they sunset, and I mean, this must be the opportunity that you're giving me to walk out the door. And God threw a curveball at me. Yep, threw a curveball. I was trying to set myself up to leave, to be considered for another position in anywhere else but automotive, right? Even though I prayed for the job, right? I prayed for it, right? That's what God gave me. Times will have it to where my husband lost his job, and I didn't have a choice but to stay where I was. And so what happened, the account managers rallied everybody together, and they gave a list of all the units that were available and that were, able to benefit from using people, adding people to their teams. So I set myself up. The team that I really wanted to be, well, my first choice really was to leave, right? I wanted to be considered for a whole nother account with the third party company, within the third party company, but just not under the account of the automotive company, right? So that was my first option. And my second option was, I think, another team that dealt more of the account side of the automotive with the company. So I was trying to get considered for that. And that wasn't going to start until, like, I think that was going to be like 3 or 4 months out. And I remember the account manager, and to this day, I still don't believe it, but she, gave me like a little side message and was like, hey, if you don't come up with something within the next 14 days, the company's going to let you go indefinitely. And I'm like, how y'all do that? Just y'all sunset. It was y'all's decision to sunset, and then you going to punish me because I want to consider looking elsewhere? So, but like I said, God fixed it to where, I didn't have a choice but to stay. And it wasn't going to make sense for me to do anything else because my husband wasn't working. Somebody had to work. So I went ahead and, she was like, these are my particular accounts. She was like, I'm gotten familiar with you since you've been with this team, and I like the way you work, and I would love for you to come, with me with one of my accounts. And I was like, okay, that was all right. So the account managers are checking me out. They're noticing my work. So I was like, okay. So this one account that I started with, it was a support account, and it assisted people who are in the market, to purchase vehicles and everything. So you offer that support there. Any questions they have about the vehicle, what the specs are, product information, colors, everything specific to the vehicle. We are there to offer that support and answer those questions, and then get them on over to a dealership, for them to go ahead and finish the process of purchasing the vehicle. And so we would get little incentives every time we had, what did they call it? Oh my gosh, they call it like I forget what they call it, but nevertheless, whenever you were successful with assisting a customer, and then you located a dealership for them to go ahead so they can test drive the vehicle and purchase it, you would get incentives for that. So that was pretty cool. But for some reason, I was getting all of those opportunities where I was driving people to the, getting people to the dealerships, but I was barely able to get any incentives because the doggone tool wouldn't work right for me. So we bring in my TL. My TL set up a meeting with the account manager. She came in and was looking through everything, and she couldn't figure it out. So she had to get somebody else involved, and they found out that my account was like based in France or something. Like, I don't know. So for some reason, everything that I was doing, it wasn't registering because France is a whole nother country, right? It's not in the U.S. So that's why I was always getting kickback. And then there were some other things that I witnessed and noticed, and I was like, okay. So yeah, we don't do unproductivity very well. Have a little question, you get a little kickback because of the question. So I'm like, yeah, okay, here we go with unproductivity. All right, okay. But I got to work, Lord. And by the way, I did pray, and you blessed me. This is the job you blessed me with, because I did say, can you bless me? The human resources of the heavens, please hire me with a job, right? Okay, so I'm long suffering. I'm staying faithful. So finally, I'm at work one day and I see this message pop up. And it's about an opportunity to go to another division. Once again, on productivity, post in the chat. Be mindful, this is a tough team to work with. You really got to have thick skin. You got to have some tough, skin, da 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 da. And I'm like, why are you discouraging people? Why? Because if somebody wants to leave, they're going to leave. And then you're going to try and get in there and discourage people from leaving. So when I got the message, I saw it and then I was like, I mean, because at the same time, I was also wanting an opportunity to allow me to be able to chat and not always be on the phone. And that was, when I tell you, if I had to peg the best schedule I've ever had, it was definitely with the team prior to the one I'm with now. The best schedule. I worked what, Monday through Thursday. Yeah, I worked Monday. Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. No, wait a minute. Sunday. I'm sorry, Sunday through Thursday. I worked Sunday through Thursday. Had Friday and Saturday off, right? And Sundays were no phones. Absolutely no phones. Zero phones. All chat. So that was really cool. I miss that schedule. So I was kind of torn because I'm like, ooh, do I want to give up this gravy schedule? Like I got a whole Friday and Saturday off. Like what? Talk about the weekend, and then my Sundays are still kind of like off days, so to speak, because I still don't have to be on the phones. I'm just chatting. So I was kind of torn between, do I stay here and just continue to deal with what I'm dealing with, even though I do have this gravy schedule, or do I go somewhere where I really can be effective and really be confident and really just allow my light to shine? And I chose the latter. I chose to not be stagnant and to really go somewhere where I could be effective and let my light shine. So I came into work on a Sunday because, like I said, I had that Friday and Saturday off. So that whole Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all that went by. Came in Sunday, and I thought about it again, and I reached out to my account manager and I said, hey, I saw the message and I'm not sure if the opportunity is still available, but if it is, I'd like to be considered. And she chatted back and was like, I'm really glad that you reached out and that you're going to be wanting to transition, because I was hoping that you would be one of the ones that would take the opportunity. So I was like, okay, here we go. So she got everything set up. I think I worked like an hour or 15 minutes that day because I couldn't go over my hours because I was going to be starting training for the new gig like that Monday, the exact next day. So I think I worked like an hour that Sunday, got set up, and now I am with a team where oh gosh, we assist the customers when they, need parts and accessories for their vehicles, things of that nature. That's pretty. It's e-commerce, pretty much, and I like it. I do. I have to be honest. It gets busy. Okay. Uh, Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Christmas. Woo! Yeah, yeah. Phones are like off the hooks. But at the same time, I'm blessed and I'm fortunate. And like I said, I put the job a million times in my head. And I felt like this was the opportunity for me to come and just be like, I'm here because this is where God wanted me. And I'm sorry it's so long and drawn out, but I'm here because this is where God wanted me, right? And that is the whole purpose of the Purpose Plan platform. It's about helping you really dig deep inside to get what you need to get from God, to get that spiritual encouragement through me as a vessel. Well, Rachel, how do you know that God wants to use you as a vessel to encourage people? Like, who are you? Well, once again, I said this should have been done 2 weeks ago. And the moment that I thought it was going to try and slip through the cracks, burning sensation, burning desire. So whatever that burning desire is, whatever that burning sensation is, whatever it is that you feel like you are knowing that you need to do, hiding from, and you keep getting this burning sensation, you keep getting this tap on the shoulder like, hey, what are you doing? Why are you taking so long? Why are you prolonging? Why are you procrastinating? You know what you're supposed to be doing. You know how you're supposed to be setting yourself up to make the next move. Make the next move. Stop playing. Get up, and do what you're supposed to do. Days are numbered. Do you hear me? Days are numbered. And when I said that things have been going on, within my circle, like there is a whole situation going on in the news right now that is affecting my church family, right? And you just don't never know. You could be planning to go somewhere for outing, for a birthday celebration, for somebody else's celebration, and you may not make it back home. And I know that God has me here using YouTube for the Purpose Plan platform on RLH Space. I know He has me here to encourage somebody. I'm not trying to get rich. I'm not trying to make no money. It ain't about none of that for me. My prayer is that when you come across this video, is that you hear and see something that will touch your spirit, that will remind you, that will convict you, that will 2 Timothy 3:16 you, okay? 2 Timothy 3:16 that says that for all scripture is breathed for correction and for reproof, right? Profitable for teaching in righteousness. That is what the Word of God does for us. It's supposed to correct and reprove us, and it's supposed to be profitable for teaching in righteousness. So I'm hopeful and I'm prayerful that when you come across any of my videos, because there will be videos after this, right? This is just the hey, I'm back. This is what's been up, and now this is where we're going video, right? And I really am just excited about where God is taking me, where He's going to be taking other people who come across my videos, and what you get from it. I just pray that it blesses you. I pray that it keeps you. I pray that it encourages you, because we are living in some times right now that are very questionable. Very, very questionable. And our posture has to be right. We have to be sold out completely to God, to Jesus. So this video is already going longer than I wanted it to go. I am going to stop it here. I mean, those of you who stuck around and watch, I appreciate you. I thank you. There is more to come. And I just look forward to being a vessel to bless each and every one of you who come across my videos moving forward. So I love you all. God bless you.